And we are live. Collector's Catacomb number 2.
Woohoo!
Yo ho!
Hello. All right, we're gonna have Kevin on from the Thrifting Lounge tonight. He'll be joining us here momentarily. There he is.
Yay! There he is.
All right, so we're gonna have a good, exciting show. I'm broadcasting from Washington, out here visiting some family. So we'll get everybody introduced, and we'll end with you, Kevin. Then you can introduce yourself and start getting into what you collect and share with us a little bit. So, my name's Erik Castle. I've got Tinker's Row Retail and Tinker's Row Relics. I'm big into militaria and just love anything old, antiques and whatnot. Been dealing in it a long time and just have a big passion for it. So that's a little bit of background on me. We'll move on to our master of ceremonies. He's going to keep up with our chat and send us the questions so we don't forget anybody. So shoot those questions in. We'll move on to Brian and then go down the line.
Hi there, everybody. I'm Brian, also known as Arbitrage Albatross around the community. I'll be here watching for your questions, just like Erik said. And I guess that's about all I got. If the chat runs fast, I might be slow, so we'll see.
Go ahead, Drew.
Is it my turn?
Sure.
Sure.
Hey guys, I'm Drew the California Picker, if you didn't know. I specialize in fine art, antiquities and antiques, vintage collectibles, this sort of thing. I have a YouTube channel called California Pickin', and I have a Facebook page called The California Picker. So go check that out and hit like for me there. And I just had the second half of my root canal, so I'm a little swollen over here, maybe slurring some words, but
You just did some of those things on Thursday, huh?
yeah, it's done in 2 parts, two phases. Yeah, boy, has anyone had a root canal? That was difficult.
No, you can you go ahead and have that and share the experience. I just don't want to share it with you.
Yeah. All right, so
right.
It's good to be here on the second Collector's Catacomb.
Hey, it's great to have you. Everybody's been talking about it, and I guess we'll move on to our former special guest and new panel member, Miss Elena Scraparella. Go ahead,
Hello.
Elena.
Take a bow.
Oh gosh. Thank you. I am so excited. I had so much fun on the first episode, and the fact that I have a strong passion for antiques, and it doesn't have to be jewelry, even though that's what I specialize in as far as the antiques go. But I'm just so glad to be part of this panel and share some of my knowledge as well. So thank you for having me on, and I look forward to future episodes.
Awesome. All right, Chad. As if you're not YouTube famous enough, let us know who you are.
Whatever. Hi, I'm Chad. I'm the Golden Finger Picker, and my wife is the Florida Picking Queen. We have a YouTube channel. It's at Golden Finger Picker. We are co-founders of the Reseller Society, so if you don't know about that, head on over there, check it out. Anything reselling, we learn all kinds of stuff over there. And as far as this show is really special to me because I'm not always about the money. I'm about the history and about the story, and the money is awesome, but it just goes so much deeper, you know, for so many of us that do this. So that's why I love it here, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
All right, great, Chad, and we're happy to have you here. And yeah, the Reseller Society, if anybody isn't involved over there, or even the Thrifting Lounge, I see a lot of great vintage and antique stuff go through there as well. Go check those out. There's a large basis of people there, so it's not just about scanning barcodes. I mean, we've all met through those places, so there are antiquers and things like that, and people in there that collect. So those are some good places to check out. Of course, you know me, if you're in the militaria, go check out the Allied Militaria Forum. It's my forum that I've got on. It's all on Allied Militaria. We don't deal with any of the access, Nazis or things like that. But anything that's allied can get posted over there. So with that, we'll move on to you, Kevin. Tell us who you are, and we'll go from there.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Kevin, and I run a group called the Thrifting Lounge. And yeah, I'm glad to be on. I'm actually super excited to be on. I haven't done this in like 2 months or so. I think the last time I was on, meet and greet was, how long ago was that, Chad? Like 2 months?
It's been so long, I can't remember, Kevin.
Yeah, it's funny because like I've been talking to Sarah, and she's like, man, since we haven't done much videos lately, we've been able to make a really lot of, like, not a lot of money, but a lot more than when we were doing the videos. But I miss these videos. It's fun. I miss you guys, by the way.
It's been a long time because I don't remember you looking like Jesus.
No. I gotta cut my hair. That's one thing I missed. Like I've been wanting the last week just cut my hair, and we've had a lot going on. My brother-in-law moved in, so it's just been super busy around the house. And but yeah, I'm definitely getting around to cutting my hair. This I'm trying to grow out until the Patriots win the Super Bowl. So, and then maybe I'll cut it.
I need to make a quick thing. I just saw in the comments, Katie says, scanning is the money, collecting is the hobby. Absolutely not. Because, no, I understand what she's saying. I totally understand. But if you're in the collecting mindset, and you know about the collecting, and you know about what collectors want, and you're a collector, you know how to get that big money if that's what you choose to do. But it's not always about selling it, but that's where a lot of the big money is in the collecting arenas.
And this will be my sharing for today. Literally just picked it up an hour ago. And no, you cannot scan these. They don't have barcodes. And I paid $50 for the whole set. That little piece right there is worth $100.
Oh, that's a silver one.
I would like to add
when you can find me repetitive items that you can scan and buy for $50, or actually less than $50, because there's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 17 pieces for $50 and sell one for $100. Then I'll say collecting is just a hobby. And this isn't all about the money. I didn't buy those. Most of those won't get resold. But it's just to reiterate that scanning is not everything, and that's why we got the show. There's so much more to this than, of course there's the collecting and stuff like that, but also educating people and helping people out, so that way when they go into an estate sale and they're looking around, they can't find anything else. Well, they might find an item that they saw on our show and understand the history behind it and either get interested in collecting it or know that they can sell it to a collector, which is, in my opinion, is just as important to have those items available on the market for collectors to purchase, because that's how you preserve history. If those items don't come to market, they get lost.
And I'm going to play
we're not about the money. It obviously does tie into the show.
And I'm going to play devil's advocate real quick. I think that reading between the lines, you probably just meant it's a lot easier to pick up items to scan than it is to, find items to collect. And the items that will bring in more than you could ever find by something scanning, the thousands of dollars, there's people that make millions of dollars off of finding that one item, they come far in between. So it's not something that you can go out every day and find. And it also depends on the person. There's hardcore collectors, and it is their living, and that's what they do, and they make millions. And then there's people who do it on the hobby level. So I think it all is based off of the individual.
Right. Yeah, and I'm not hating on scanning, trust me. I do love scanning and making money. So, but Kevin, we'll get back to you, and I heard you're going to talk about some clothes, and somebody, people are getting excited about some fishing stuff you mentioned, and so what do you got to show us, and tell us a little bit of history about what you collect?
Well, I'll tell you what I've recently started collecting. World War, what is it, Chad? I think I talked to Chad about 2 months ago, and who else? I forget, it was somebody else. I don't know if it was you, Brian. When I had that Vietnam era I think it was an Army jacket or a U.S. Air Force jacket, field jacket, and then I also had I found out it was an Australian tunic dress jacket. It had all like the ribbons and stuff on it. I can bring it out here and show you in a second here, but I ended up having to really do some research on the Australian one, and I ended up I ended up emailing a few of them through forums that I found, and I found out they were shop owners, so I would email them. I said, hey, I found this on eBay. I found this at a yard sale for like $7 or something like that. And then I just asked him, do you know what this is? I know it's Australian, but that's as far as I know it is. And the guy wrote me back like a day later. He was really nice about it, and he said it was Australian tunic, and it was like Vietnam War era, and he even had like a little patch to it, like the ribbon they call it. And he told me it was worth about $180 for resale, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I'm debating on selling that. I think I'm going to sell that, but I'm keeping the Vietnam War one. I think it's a Vietnam era field jacket. And then I just purchased a World War II. It had the garrison hat. It had like the full suit, the garrison hat, the officer's dress jacket with the gold buttons, and then it had the pants with it too. And the pants still had the tag on it. I purchased that for like $87 plus 17 shipping. And that's something I'm going to keep for myself. And I'm also on the lookout, Eric, if you know of anybody trying to sell a World War II officer's hat, I'm in the market to buy one.
Well, if you had watched the meet and greet a few weeks ago, you would have seen me wearing a couple different ones.
Man. You do have them? That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. So that's great. Well, what do you got to show us? People want to see what you got.
I'll be right back. I'm going to get you a few things. Yeah,
all right, that's fine. We'll move on to some shout-outs, Brian.
All right. Yeah, scroll all the way back up, see what we got out here. So we got Denver Flipper. We got Book Bakery. Matt Embry, he's out there. Who else?
Matt showed up. We don't have any clowns on the show. Love you, Matt.
Of course, there's Alabama Pickers out there in the chat. He's
got nothing better to do. All he sits around does is twiddle his thumbs and let his wife make all the money.
But isn't he the sponsor for tonight?
Yeah, he did do that. He delightfully volunteered to give away some Starbucks door prizes, which we will be doing. It will be some random Starbucks items. You'll just have to trust us, and there'll be some random people that get drawn out in the chat throughout the show. And you'll receive a Starbucks door prize. And I've also got two other prizes. I'm loading the pictures up now because they're back home. I don't have them with me, so I just have a picture of the other two prizes. One of them we will be giving out during the show. The other one is going to be given out next week, and that will be randomly selected from the comments on the video this week. Brian, get back to some shout-outs, and I'll find the pictures of the items.
All right. Looks like we got Michael Baumberger, T.A. Picker Dave, of course, Katie Patton.
Hey, Katie Patton.
Hey, Katie's in the house. Good to have you here, Katie.
Laura Lee.
Hi, Laura. You know, we should be saying hi to...
Laura's here.
There's Gray out there. I've seen you around the Hangouts a few times. And looks like Mighty Beans Picker, Angela Soto's out there.
Woohoo!
And Picker Smurf, been around a while.
Yeah, I've seen Picker Smurf quite a bit.
Swamp Picker, TN Treasures, Lisa Triplet, who was earlier wondering where the collectors were. They're right there.
We're here, Lisa. Don't worry.
Melissa S. Oh, I probably will say this wrong. Bodhi, B-O-D-H-I, Bodhi Tree Trading, New Jersey.
Okay, that's a new one.
I haven't seen that name around before.
Did Kevin get lost?
I don't know where Kevin went. He went to go get a few items to show us, but he must have them locked up in a dungeon or something.
No, he probably got sidetracked putting them on.
You say he likes to wear his clothes around?
No,
Oh, he does.
He's watching 21 Jump Street.
The whole season.
We're horrible people, you know.
He's got a fixation. He's fixated with Johnny Depp.
Yes, I am.
Hey, Erik, I have got the ultimate guest coming up for you. You need to schedule him and just say it on my word. I vouch for him. It's Dan Wright. He is one of my fellow. He loves everything I love. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, tell him to get a hold of me. I've got some people in the works as well. I'm gonna try to get some high-end militaria collectors on to talk about some of their stuff. You know, things that you would they collect the kind of stuff you see in museums. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, tell them to get a hold of me. I mean, I'm all for getting people scheduled, and that goes for any of our viewers. If you're out there and you know you collect something, you want to get on the show and you want to talk about it, get a hold of me. You know, I am more than happy to schedule you on for the show. So, what you got for us there, Kevin?
hello, Kevin.
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, the other Kevin on the show.
No, I have the uniform I was trying to show you earlier. I know you've already seen it, Erik, but
That's all right. Let's show it to the viewers. That was a pretty sweet piece.
yeah, it's got the buttons up here. It's black, and they say it's like this. I think it's like this late '60s or early '70s. Sorry, and it has the patch where it's like one of 15,000 people that in Australia that fought. Actually, they didn't fight in the Vietnam War, but I think they were, what was it, Chad, associated with the Vietnam War?
Yeah. It was a low number of the Australian soldiers that actually were affiliated with it.
And I found the pin, the little pin right here, the Australian pin, right here. That little thing. It's hard to see with the light in here, but I found that alone on eBay, and it was going for like $60. But I mean, that was what they were asking. I didn't know if I don't think any of them sold, so I don't know how long it's been sitting, but that's what that person was asking. And I was thinking about selling this, man. I don't know though, because it comes also with the full suit. It's got the red stripe on the side of the pants and everything. And but yeah, that's the same yard sale I found the field jacket at.
Okay, so let me ask you a question if you don't mind. You said it was 1970s, 1960s. I'm here to learn. I know nothing about uniforms. Okay, I heard you mention a patch. Could you explain to me how you were able to date it and why the patch is so important?
Well, I was able to date it on the patch and the field jacket, not that one. That one we basically dated it by the ribbons, and there was a couple other things too that I forget what it was. Could have been these up here, the little.
Yeah, the rank.
Yeah, the rank or something on the back. But I think it might have said on the pants or something. And oh no, we had a tag, right, Chad? Because this came from the pieces or something. Yeah, there was a tag on this, and it said like 1975. I think I still have the tag too. So hold on a few seconds. And it said like 1975 or something like that, or 74. And then on the pants is at a later date, so these pants are newer than the jacket. I forget where it said, but when I talked to the lady, she's a really, really old lady, and she said she bought them off somebody in like 1980s, in the 80s or something. So, and that's how I knew it was really old anyway. So I'm like, oh well, put two and two get together, but it's. Where is it?
But there are other ways to date it if we don't have a tag that has a date on it?
You can date it by the medals, the actual medals, because a lot of there are like campaigns that they've gone through that were actually dated, you know, like from 1969 to 1974. You know, they were in this campaign, so that's a way you can actually date it also.
Yeah, when it comes to uniforms, the tag is so important because they use that pattern uniform for so many years. So unless you get something that is like an oddity, like they changed the uniform for a couple of years and then went back to another uniform, for the most part, without that tag, even the medals, you can be lost, because you have World War II vets that, went out and, in the 70s and 80s and bought ribbons and stuff to wear to a veteran parade or something like that, and were never active in them before, got older, decided to get active in them after they retired. So those medals and ribbons are newer than the uniform itself. So that tag really becomes important when you're talking about military uniforms as far as getting a specific date. Now, you'll always be able to put an error to it because uniforms do change with time,
Okay, perfect.
I think is that what you were looking at, Elena? Like,
yes.
What happens if there's no tag?
Yeah, because I'm not like military knowledgeable. So I'm
Right.
learning, like the viewers are learning. So I figure if I'm wondering what makes it so important or how it's dated, I'm thinking maybe the viewers are too. And I gotta say, I love the pants. I love that red stripe.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's one thing about military uniforms is they look good. I'm not gonna lie.
And with military uniforms, everything has a reason why. Like on an officer's cap, the gold leaves. I mean, there's just every single thing on the uniform. There's a reason why. Like
Right.
why something's subdued, or why there's a red stripe on the pants for officers and a yellow stripe for enlist. I mean, just there's always a reason why.
Wasn't that for marching, Chad? Marching, this line up and down the leg was to accentuate your legs as you marched?
Well, I think that came along before marching. I'm not totally sure on the history. I think each country may have their different, but I guarantee there is a definite reason why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to truly look into it. I know in the U.S. Army, it denotes whether you're an officer, a non-commissioned officer, or enlisted. It does help separate that, but I don't know the specific history behind it. It's kind of funny. I don't really even know a whole lot of history behind my own uniform, but I could tell you all kind of history about other uniforms.
Yeah, well, there's so much to know. I mean, it's such a huge. I mean, these militaries have been militaries for hundreds of years, and they develop certain things about it, and it just takes years to develop it. And with each thing comes a story, and it just continues to grow. And
Oh yeah.
Protocol.
a lifetime of knowledge in just military.
Well, I mean, it comes down to heraldry. I mean, that's why the Army has a Department of Heraldry to keep track of it all, because it's just insane.
Since we're on the militaria, I had a question earlier that came out from Pickin' Ain't Easy. Is Tinkers or Retail? How collectible are World War II State Guard items? Not talking about National Guard, but the State Guard. And I know here in Tennessee we do have that too. It's the State Guard.
He's gone, but it really depends. As with anything else, I mean, if there's a ton of those uniforms running around, is it something that has ended after, they quit using the state militia or the state guard after 1908, it just, or, did they disband in 1975? So it just really depends on the age of it and what's on it. Was it owned by a hero, or, I mean, there's just so many different. Oh, he's back. He can answer.
Yeah, were you talking about the State Guard? Sorry, I got a little click happy trying to move around.
Basically, it's how collectible are the World War II State Guard items? And they're saying specifically not National Guard, but State Guard.
It comes down to the item and stuff. It really just, there's a lot of common items out there, and then there's a lot of items that are a little bit harder to find. I mean, when you're talking a State Guard item that's named to an individual, well, now that comes with history and provenance, and that is going to hold a lot more value than just a standard State Guard uniform. But now, if you're talking about a State Guard uniform compared to a National Guard uniform, I would say that the State Guard, even a common uniform, is going to be more collectible than the National Guard uniform. So with some of that older stuff, a lot of it comes down to the history and the provenance behind it.
Perfect.
So what you got next for us, Kevin?
Well,
Everybody's on edge.
I was gonna show you guys. I had this remember that gold gorgeous, or some people thought it was really ugly. See the dress I had from Ola Cassini. Remember that, Elena? The
A gold
was
dress. Did you wear it?
No, I didn't. It was the one that Sarah kept telling me to wear, though.
Oh, okay.
I sold it for like $90, and I was gonna show it tonight and stuff like that, but I already sent it out. I think it was like yesterday. I was gonna show some examples on stuff like that. But I have another dress, but it's missing a tag, so it's hard to figure out and date that one. But I can show you a huge find of the week if you want to do that.
Is there history behind it? Is it vintage, antique? What makes it so special?
Vintage is really cool. This is a Sony FM card Walkman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's from 1985, and it has the original box. It has the original paperwork, everything inside, and I think that the original price tag's right there. I was talking to Sarah on this one because she's like an electronic guru, and I've been chatting her up the last few days about stereo receivers. And but this is from 1985, and it's just like a receiver where you just get like FM radios. And it has a really cool it's supposed to be a headphone jack right there. This little thing right here. But I don't know if it was supposed to come with the box or not, and I think Sarah said it was, but it's not going to be a deal breaker. She told me to list it around $200.
Wow, that's like an advanced Walkman. It's so thin for like 1980s.
Yeah, it's so cool though. It's super slim, and it's just like what are they called? The CD changer things, remotes. That's how thin it is. And I also, the same store picked up the same year a regular Sony Walkman from 1985 also.
I mean, look at that. It looks like that one company was like ahead of their years, how thin the other one was.
It's crazy. Like, I don't think anybody could touch them at that point. Nowadays, it's like, I don't know if they had like the same quality as back in the day, but
now what's our cutoff point going to be? Is it going to be 1980s? Is it going to be 85? Where is it going to be, Eric?
I really don't have much of a cutoff point. If you're collecting it, it can go. You know what I mean?
No,
now,
but
if you're just showing stuff, then yeah, obviously, I really don't feel like seeing, limited edition Disney from 2001.
Right.
Or if you want to, but if you want to show your Y2K memorabilia collection, then I'll go for it.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't want to restrict it. As long as people are collecting it, I mean, let's go for it. That's what the show's about, is what's being collected, not the value,
Yep, and obviously people are collecting it if there's a market for it.
Right. And that's just it. But, of course, we all love seeing the older stuff. I mean, who doesn't,
Well, I got you covered there.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, I don't know.
What about some of this fishing stuff you mentioned?
Yeah, let's get to that.
Definitely look for wooden, what are they, top water plugs. Those are highly collectible, vintage wooden ones. And you could usually tell by the hook if it's a little rusted. You can tell it's like an older hook just by the tip of it. And if it's not pointy, most likely it's older than the newer ones. New ones are super razor sharp, and they don't have the technology back then they do nowadays. Anyways, look for the wooden ones, and also look for the steel looking what are they called? The bait caster looking saltwater fishing reels. And I mean, those are high dollars, even the new ones. But the older ones are they'll bring couple $100 compared to the new ones, which are going to bring a little bit more. But I mean, you can look for brands like Avet, AVET, that's a real brand. Penn, definitely vintage Penn Senator stuff, like the 15-aught, if you don't know what I'm talking about, because I'm going in circles here. Penn Senator has been a classic for years, and they just have changed from, it was all aluminum, or sorry, steel frame, but they went to aluminum a few years ago. But you can also get the setups nowadays where it's like an extra $100 to turn them back in like the original Senators. Anyways, you want to look for the 15-aughts, because that's going to bring you like $400 to $600 for even a used one that's in decent shape. Because these ones are these reels were like
the older ones. What materials specifically? I mean, were they always made out of a certain material and then they switched at a certain point?
Nowadays, a lot of the cheaper reels are made out of what is it?
Well, I'm talking the older ones. Like if I pick up two
ones
saltwater reels at Goodwill,
man,
and one's
really,
made out of steel, one's
awesome.
made out of aluminum, does that make a difference?
What'd you say? The last part?
If I picked up two of them and one was steel and one was aluminum, would the dating on them be different, or did they use both those materials back then?
It'll be heavier.
Aluminum, I think aluminum was used for fly fishing and steel was used for deep sea.
Well, yes. Well, now they use a lot of these. The cheaper end reels are made from aluminum. And I actually, one specific one, I bought a new one, and I'd not even 10 times out using it 10 times on the inlet, which they have some big fish out there, which if you know me and followed me for a while, you've seen how big the fish get out here. One day I threw it out there, and then just like the thing just snapped. The bearing, the whole gear shaft and everything snapped, and then the inside rod snapped between the reel turns. And that's when I realized it was made out of like a cheap plastic and then just aluminum frame. And I'm like, man, this is garbage. So I did spend the extra $100 to get a right reel that time, because I mean, you really don't make them like they used to nowadays.
Right. Well, we got a question from Gray. He says, Kevin, what about the old bamboo? You know anything about the old bamboo fishing stuff?
Yeah, those are bamboo fishing rods, and they can be worth a pretty penny. It's very rare to find them, and when you do find them, a lot of times they're like just beaten up at the point where like you don't even want to grab them. But if you can find them, man, they go for really good money.
Are they beaten up just from use, or does the bamboo dry out and it causes cracks and they just deteriorate with time?
The age, because these things were used, I want to say in the 30s, 40s, and I think around in the early 50s, and then everything else just changed from there. Like the technology changed, but I mean, bamboo is strong as heck, man. But it's still like, you would be surprised seeing what the salt water can really do to anything. I mean, I've tried buying stuff off Craigslist, and I go there, and it's exactly not what I was hoping it was. Where it was just, you could see on the inside of the spools. I don't have one out here on me, but in the inside of the spools on an open reel or a bait caster or a casting reel, you could see on the inside rivets where it starts to rust. That's your cutoff point, saying, yeah, that's not even salvageable.
All right. What about old fishing krills? You ever bought any of the old Japanese fishing krills and stuff?
No. It's really where I live in an area where if I'm not at a yard sale to find this fishing stuff quick enough, it's gone. I mean, like I said, I live right next to the beach here, and everybody up and down has yard sales, but it's very rare to see in my price range the stuff, because these people don't want to get rid of them. They just really don't want to part with any of their fishing stuff.
Did you say, Erik, creel? Is that what you said? The basket?
Krill. I think I'm saying it right. Krill. Is that right, Drew? You probably know for sure.
Krill is the little things that.
The little baskets.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
That's a creel, and krill are the little creatures in the ocean.
Okay, so creel, and like, can we explain like what that was? Because that's the exciting part about collecting. You know, the creels, the baskets, you know, the bait buckets. You know, like, do you know when creels were made? Because I know you love fishing.
Honestly, I've never collected creels. I only collect like the reels, the old school reels, like the Penn what are they called? The slammers and the I have the, oh man, what's the one I have in my room? The
Senator.
No, not the Senator, but those are really good collect too. Anything over like, I want to say like a 9/0, 9, 10, I think a 12 and a 15 they make. The 15 are like this, nowhere like this big, and those are what we use for tiger sharks down here to catch like the hammerheads, tiger sharks. We'll have people that will grab like a cinder block. They'll take the line out 200 yards, drop it, and they'll wait on hours for a hammerhead or a tiger shark to come out and grab it. And there's a few websites out there where I've seen these guys just like on YouTube videos catch 15 feet hammerheads and tiger sharks, and they're sitting there digging their feet in the ground on hours in the sand. It's crazy.
I love that because I love fishing. But let me ask you a question because I'm learning. You said that the pen reels, the ones that you collect, you only collect 9 or larger, up to 15.
That's only for the Senators. The Senators are going to be like a bait cast and open cast reel.
And what is an open cast reel? Explain it. I want to visualize it.
If you want me to pull something up real quick, I can do it right now.
Yeah, no, I just want to know, like, what's the difference? Like, how can I tell what an open cast reel is so I can find it? Like, if I'm interested in collecting, like, and then the older reels, did they have certain rivets that they don't have, like the newer reels?
Go on, Kevin. Show her the big 9-inch.
Hey.
No, it's a lot to take in. All right, a big or open cam. See, you got me confused. Okay.
That's all right. Do you need a second, Kevin, to pull some stuff up?
No, it's fine. I'm just trying to think of how I can explain it. Where if you can't see a picture, it's going to be hard to explain. Whereas if I showed you a picture, you'd be like, okay, that's what I mean. And then when I say I'm looking for the
Can you screen share?
Oh, I got an idea. Do you mean like open where you can see the line on the spool versus closed, surrounded? Okay.
Yeah, a closed would be like what you would have your kids fish with, or the other old school closed fishing rods. But the open, the bait casters are their reels are over here, but you can also switch over here. But they're like, it's like what are they called? Like a circular, round, whatever. And it's like they range from this wide to like over here. And if you can find something big and it's like in decent condition, working condition, I mean, those are going to get you 500 plus.
I love that beautiful Bakelite on the handles too, and you know, the red and sometimes the butterscotch. Have you seen those?
I never see them around here. You can't. Like I said, it's so hard for me to find stuff that's still workable around here. When I go to the thrift stores, everything's beat up. That's old, like super beat up. It's like these guys just left their reels and rods in the garages, and the salt just got to it because. I mean, we live next to a lot. I think the beach. It's crazy with salt. So, my car is already rusting out after 3 years because of the salt. And,
I heard that salt is real rough on a lot of things down in Florida.
It's crazy.
Do you get that out where you are too, Drew, from any kind of salt damage?
No. We have dry weather. That's a rule of thumb, you guys. If you're going to buy a car or a motorcycle, you really want to buy it from the West Coast as opposed to East Coast because of the salt that's on the roads for the ice.
Right.
And that will cause,
I'm sorry for interrupting. I was just going to say, I think that's more of a northern problem because they have all the ice on the roads all the time.
Yeah, northern, eastern, you're right. Not just like Chad's down in Florida, but not.
He just wants to sell stuff from California.
It really. You know what? If you lived 3 or 4 miles from the beach, you'd get a little bit of oxidation from the salt air. But you know, I'm about.
Hey, Kevin, you're more than welcome to stick around, but I'm going to put your segment to a close, and we're going to move on with the panel. So, but we do appreciate you coming on the show and sharing with us about your passion with some of your items that you collect and fishing, and you know, it sounds like you need to travel outside of that stinkhole of Florida and find some good fishing collectibles, you know.
We're
Well, there's 3 of us from Florida here, so you better watch it.
Oh, I don't give a damn.
I figured
I'm
out
in
what.
Washington right now. What are you gonna do?
Oh wait, hold on, Kevin's showing something.
Oh, what do you got, Kevin?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to grab. This is the Penn Spin Fisher,
Wow.
and this is the this is number 5. But the older ones are like from, I think as early on as the 60s. The Spin Fishers. They've been around for a long time, and they're highly collectible, especially the older ones. Even for parts, you can pick up a crappy one, break them open because they're like this. They untwist and it comes off. Then you have your bearings and everything on the inside. You take that all off, and you can just piece them out and make decent money.
And how do you know it's an older one?
You can just tell. You can pick up a reel. Like when you pick this one up, it's super heavy. You can pick up a reel, like the piece of crap one I had. If it was the same size of this, it'd be like, man, a couple ounces. You'd be very noticeable with the weight on it, and you could feel it. You could feel the I want to say the metal in this reel, and I just know a good something like a good reel. Huh?
Can you date them by the model numbers, or do the model numbers stay the same throughout the years?
Well, they usually have them every few years. They make them. The older days, I think it was a lot longer than a few years. But the newer days, it's usually they do it every 3-4 years. They'll change the Spin Fisher. I mean, there's really not much to add on a gorgeous reel like this, but
Now that's a bobbing one, right? That bobs up and down a little bit.
this is a spinning reel.
Spinning, but does it bob up and down a little bit?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, it does.
Yes.
So you know what? I'm thinking that's a modern reel because.
No, it is. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And it was. I think it was invented, Kev, because I think it would be easier to take care of a tangle. You could take the top off and you could get to the reel much better. On the closed reel, it's like a bitch to get to.
Dude, it's tough to do, and you get like the wind knots on the other reels and everything. It's crazy.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're doing, and you're trying to fish, do not stay away from the bait casters and just go with the spin fish. These are so easy to learn from, and you can catch almost as big fish as them. But with this one, like I said, I've caught a 40-pound redfish and a couple 30-pound snook on this thing, and it was so easy compared to the one.
You know my secret, Kevin, to prevent entangles on my reels?
Huh?
You know my secret to prevent entangles?
Not fishing?
I fish in the frozen food section at my local grocery
Yeah,
store.
that's what I figured.
All right, guys.
All right, Kev. Thanks, man.
We appreciate it, Kevin. You're more than welcome to stick around and
Hang out.
ask questions and chime in, you know.
Yeah.
We're not going to run you off, but we're just going to stop talking to you, okay?
No, don't worry. I'm used to that. So, guys, but I got to get out of here. It was nice talking to you guys. I'd love to do this again. Like I said, I was super excited to come on. I haven't been on in a while, and I was glad to be on with you guys and talk about collections and stuff like that. I think that's a pretty cool subject.
Hey, we appreciate it, Kevin. Again, thank you.
All right, later.
Cheers,
Later.
man.
Bye.
All right. So, with that, we have randomly selected through our fancy smanchy random selection machine that Brian Posey built. And the winners for the Starbucks random door prizes are Kathleen Brown and 12 hounds.
All right, Kathleen Brown.
Kathleen Brown and 12 hounds need to contact anybody on the panel. Has my information because I'm not over in the chat talking. So if you can contact Arbitrage Albatross or any of the other panel members and just send them your email address and they'll forward that to me and we'll get your random Starbucks door prizes sent out to you. And trust me, it will be worth it. No, it won't be a single coffee bean.
Yeah.
So, and then also with that, I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share here real quick, and I will show the 2 other prizes that are going to be given out. One will be selected at the end of this show, and the other one will be selected from the comments and announced on the next show. So you'll have to make sure to tune back in and check out the YouTube video of this live show, and make a comment so that way you can be entered in for the other prize that will be given away. Since this is our second show and we're looking forward to having many more. Right, guys?
Yeah.
I know.
I love learning. So I'm really looking forward to the quality that's going to come out of a lot of people's collections.
They all thought I was asleep, but I was just soaking in everything Kevin was saying about these reels because I'm in an area here to where, I mean, we see reels all the time, but I just don't know anything about them.
Yeah, pretty much what I got was heavier the better.
Metal, heavy, better. Yeah. Plus, I have Kevin on speed dial, so if I find one, I'll just call him.
and wooden lures with dull hooks.
And a lot of these reels, they're so good looking. They're chrome plated or nickel plated, and they're just like works of art almost. They look beautiful just sitting on a table. You know, I have a really nice. He was talking about pen, manufactured pen. I have a really nice one in my booth right now.
I have an antique bamboo fishing rod that still has the paint, and you could read the name on it, but my stepdad has it right now, so he kind of accidentally took it. Or else I'd show you guys. Okay, woohoo, Duracell.
All right, so here is going to be the first prize I'll be giving away during the show. A set of Duracell rechargeable batteries with the charger. I know this stuff isn't exactly vintage, but hey, you need batteries for your vintage battery-powered toys. So that's my link to the vintage theme. But no, it's brand new in the package. Never been used, I promise. Let's see if this will move on to the.
Ooh, a car.
Oh, a car.
Oh yeah, no, that was from one of my book hauls. You can see it was riding a little low.
How do I enter this doorway giveaway?
And here's the prize that's going to be given away for the video on YouTube. You have to make a comment to get entered into that one. And it's a USB. It's a rechargeable USB instant charger, so you can charge it up with a USB, and then you can plug it into your phone, your iPod, whatever it is. If it uses a USB, it will charge. So I just thought that'd be a real cool thing. I can't think of anybody that couldn't use that. So that will be the prize I'll be giving away from the YouTube video.
You're sending me one of those, right there, buddy, old pal, old buddy?
I sure am.
Oh, I need one bad.
I know, man. We all run out with our phones, especially looking up antiques, because you can't scan the barcode. So you spend a lot more time on your phone and eating up battery, searching Google and everything else. So, but yeah, so those are going to be the prizes. So everybody's got to stay tuned. And we're going to move on to Drew, since I know he's like over there grinding his teeth.
I've been challenged him. I said my item's better than his item, so we'll just see about this, Drew.
We're gonna do a little.
Oh boy.
We're gonna do a little Jimi Hendrix, Pete Townsend SmackDown. You know, remember at that was Monterey. They were fighting on who was gonna go on first, and neither one wanted to follow the other one, and they flipped a coin, and Jimmy lost and had to go on stage first, and he said, "I will bury you." And then he burnt the guitar and made history. And then the Who came on, and everybody was like, "Who is that?"
Well, just consider you lost a coin toss, so go ahead.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm going to need your help on this, and I think it's great to have you guys in the room to be able to tell me about this. Let me switch to my image so I can see what I'm doing. So this is a vintage, really nice motorcycle jacket. And it's got the old zippers. It's very old. And I pinned on these great pins here in the front. I believe this one right here, Chad and Erik, is, I believe that's tank. That represents a tank battalion.
I couldn't tell you.
You'd have to send me a picture, and I'll get it identified.
You
for
see those
sure.
turrets on there? Let me get it close. It's a beautiful pin. It's brass, and it's got.
Yeah, no, those are definitely distinguished unit insignias.
Yeah.
Is what they're called, DUIs. And but you'd be surprised that those could look like turrets, and that could end up being like a signal battalion.
Or a chef's spoon.
And then this.
Yeah. I mean, you never know, but if you send me a good clean picture of them, I could probably have them identified within a day.
And then this one says "Performance above all" with the eagle there.
Yeah.
And real nice.
Performance above all.
I guarantee it's an Air Force. It has to do with flying above all.
And look at the age of this guy. This is just a very old jacket, probably from the 50s or 40s.
Oh, actually, that's 84th Field Artillery Regiment.
The jacket is?
No, the pin.
Oh, the pin. Okay, cool. What is that? Is that World War what? II?
For the pin?
Yeah.
I'd have to see the back of it.
It's a pin back.
Yeah, if it's a clutch back, then it's post-war unless it's foreign made. But I'd have to see the maker on it to give you a more specific era.
That's my
it depends on the maker's
badass
marks. That's actually one of the cool things about the insignias is the DUIs have a lot of very specific marks that were required by the government after World War II with how they were identified as government-issued items. And it helps you actually date them to eras.
Well, this is cool.
You can pin down quite a few insignias to at least a decade just based on the maker's mark.
Okay. I just thought the pin was so good-looking graphically. It's such a great design.
They take
Well, of
time.
course, it's Army, man. That's why.
Yeah. So now this isn't militaria, but it's law enforcement. Just the facts, ma'am. It's a real police badge. And guess whose police badge it is? Take a guess.
Yours.
Huh?
Oh, easy.
Who is it?
Chips.
It's Punch.
Oh. That's awesome.
It's Erik Estrada.
That is great.
This was actually used as a prop in a production, and it's an official badge from the University of California. So I think that's UCLA. It's a good-looking badge and this nice little. Now you can't sell these because you're not allowed to impersonate a police officer. So it's just.
Well, it depends. Is it current issue?
You have to. This is an interesting subject for anybody who's dealing with this. If you have a badge from any department or whatever, you have to write that department and get permission and get a release for it that it's not being used officially.
See, I always understood that as current issue items because
It has to be
I've
obsolete.
sold several vintage.
Yeah.
I'm talking like 40s and 50s badges that are no longer used. That design, that style, pretty much that that badge.
Yeah.
Never had a problem. I actually sold a couple to a museum. That
I guess I was speaking. I'm sorry. I guess I was speaking
about police items.
About eBay. I was basically speaking about eBay. They restrict that category.
Oh yeah. Well, that's eBay. eBay's self-righteous. We won't get started on that.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Thanks for the clarification because, no, I didn't mean everywhere it's illegal to sell. It's just illegal to sell. Not illegal, but banned on eBay.
Right, and that is a good topic. It is, there are a lot of items that eBay does not allow to be sold.
Right.
But you have to remember that doesn't mean it's illegal to own it.
Yeah.
Just because eBay says no, eBay is not the law. And people
right.
do get that mixed up. I run into people all the time. I'll ask them, hey, you got any other military for sale? And they'll tell me, oh, I've got a Purple Heart, but it's illegal to sell because I can't put it on eBay.
Yeah.
It's like, no, ma'am, it's not illegal to sell. eBay's not the government.
That's right.
You know.
This is an old photograph, little snapshot from World War II. I have a whole album full of them. I'm not going to show you all of them or anything, but this is an interesting flag shot. I'm not sure what flag this is. Anybody know?
Looks like
Not really sure.
It's sort of British up here. That's the British Jack.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know I've seen several flags with the,
Yeah.
you know, the British flag in them because they own so many places.
Yeah. And let's see. I started showing you this last time, but we ran out of time, and you cut me off.
That's,
this
and don't worry,
is
that'll probably happen every week.
This is cool. This is cool about militaria, talking about that. I'm trying to stay within the subject. So this is a original map from 1787. Original map of this battle that happened in Camden, New Jersey. And this red side is the British, and this yellow color, it's a hand-tinted map, is the Americans, is the early Americans. Now, what I didn't know, Erik and Chad and Elena and the rest of the panel, is I didn't know that the British kept messing with us even after we had independence in 1776, and the British kept messing with us in the 1780s. And this map represents this battle. And in this battle, the British really romped on the early Americans and won this battle. And what I learned was, because this general over here was replaced, he was replaced by a guy named Nathaniel Greene. Now that's an interesting name because that is General Washington's right-hand guy, his most favorite general, and he appointed him head of the army there after this big defeat where the British, who was mainly made up of Hessian German soldiers, mercenaries, kicked our butt, and he was replaced by this guy Nathaniel Greene. Now what's really funny, the reason I'm bringing it up is because my family is related to Nathaniel Greene. And I found this out, and I look at some of my relatives, and they look like this guy. I don't have a picture to compare, but isn't that a fascinating story? I find a map that tells the story about somebody that I'm related to.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But hey, that's why we do this.
Yeah,
You know, I mean,
that's it.
because you just never know what you're going to come across sometimes.
Yeah.
You know,
All
that,
right, Chad. Let's see what you got.
Oh, it's up to Erik.
Whoa, Drew's giving up the floor? All right,
Oh,
hey,
oh,
we'll
a
take
little bit
advantage
more?
of that.
What, you want
Hey,
more?
Drew, before you go now,
You want
Laura
more?
Lee would like you to show the map a little closer if you could.
Okay. Okay, so here's the date down here. Let's see, where's my pointer? And I was floored. I found 3 of these maps dated 1880, and I'm not getting a good shot of that. The glare, you guys. Anyways, this is in Camden, New Jersey, or nearby, and this is where the battle occurred. And sometimes you'll see these maps hand-tinted. There's a little bit of that hand-tinting there. And not
I always like anything hand-tinted.
Yeah.
I actually have a bunch of photographs. They really aren't worth much, but they're hand-tinted. And there's just something about it. It's almost like a piece of art.
Yeah.
You know?
And then one more real quick is the one I didn't get to also. This is where our good friend Ronnie Hart lives in Boston. And this map is bigger, more valuable. And this map is also from this one's from 1788. You know, we're just talking soon after our whole country was formed, you guys. Abraham Lincoln was not even born at this time.
Oh, so that was back in Chad's day.
And here we see Boston and all the different landmarks in here. It's an incredible map of early Boston. And I don't know, where does Ronnie Hart live? He lives probably down here in Hyannisport or Cape Cod.
Cape Cod.
And maybe he's listening right now. Shout out to Ronnie.
Oh yeah, he's probably got a house on the water or something. You know, all that big money he's making.
He's down in the Dominican Republic right now, and he is probably.
Yeah.
I hope he's listening.
So that's it, pretty much on the militaria scoop.
Awesome. Hey, well, thanks, Drew. Let's move on to you, Chad. Let's see what you got.
Mine's going to be nice, short, and sweet because we have a half hour to finish all three of us. But everybody's familiar with the Cabbage Patch Kid, you know, the history behind them. They started out as nice cloth dolls, and, you know, the early ones are really expensive. But how many of you know of the evil Cabbage Patch Kids? Because there is evil Elaine is like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, her eyes just got big.
In the history of the Cabbage Patch Kid, do you have it pulled up? The history of the Cabbage Patch Kid, there is an evil set of Cabbage Patch Kids. They were produced in the 90s, and they are called the Snack Time Kids. I don't know if a lot of you guys remember these, but what these were, they were put out, and all these kids wanted them because on the commercial it showed them eating their snacks and stuff, and their mouths moved. And all the kids wanted them. Well, the parents would run out to the stores and get them, and they would get them home, and you know kids, and they like sticking things where they don't belong. Well, with the motion of these mouths and the chewing motion, yes, it is true.
Get out of here.
These dolls were recalled and stripped from the shelves because, for one, they would literally get a hold of your hair and rip the hair out of your scalp. Okay. And little boys. These are evil. You're laughing. There are hospital records and everything. These were pulled off the shelves and they were never put back on the shelves. These are one of the top 10 most dangerous recalled toys in the history. So if you look these up, it's the Cabbage Patch Snack Time Kid.
Oh, funny.
This show just took a very interesting turn.
But now this is history.
No, it really is. It's really cool.
What year is that from? I mean,
I believe that it was 1996 when they came out with them.
Are we going to draw the line now on this show somewhere?
Well, you
No,
know,
I don't think so.
No?
As long as there's history or something collectible about it.
when we're talking collectible, I mean, you know, you can't get something better than something like this that's been recalled. You can't sell this on eBay. You can't sell this on Amazon. You can't sell this on Craigslist. You can't sell this anywhere.
Did you find that out?
It is.
Did you find that out after you bought it?
Yeah.
If anybody from the FBI, NSA, or anybody's watching, I have Chad's cell number and address.
Now,
I
this
will
is
sell it to you.
a collector's item. Anybody would be an idiot to give one of these to their kids, right now anyway. But they're really neat, and to actually find one in the box, still sealed, is a great piece. But yeah, check the history out of the Cabbage Patch Snack Time Kid. So
can you knowingly sell a recalled product in any form? Nowhere.
Well, you could probably make a deal on the street or something. But
right. It would be, you know, in my opinion, that's what I call that is a private collector item. That's
absolutely
something that will change hands privately. Yeah. And money will never be exchanged for those items. Just in case
like
any lawyers are watching.
It's kind of like that. It's hard to get rid of.
It's a really fascinating read if you go look. I mean, it's. Do you think a toy like that would make it to market today? I mean, we're talking the 90s. That wasn't too awful long ago.
I don't know. I mean, they paint lead bars and pass them off for toys, so.
Yeah. But it's just so weird to learn the history behind. I mean, we're talking, it was on national news where it would rip the scalp, rip your hair, because once it gets a hold of your hair, it has this chewing motion, and it pulls, and it just rips your scalp. It's called a scalp-eating doll.
And tell us why you bought it. Tell us why
I
you
would
bought it.
assume that designer is no longer in the business.
But, you know, I mean, we're talking this with a huge name, the Cabbage Patch Kids, and, you know, how many people know they had a killer doll out there?
Killer doll.
But
The only thing that
back
would have been
on
better
top
is if you put a clown mask on it.
Yeah, I think they came out with the Garbage Pail Kids off of that.
I have to say I'm so thankful that wasn't around with my kids, because I have one child that would definitely have been an ER child, for sure. I mean, no, I'm not joking. Like, literally, he's already stuck a Lego up his nose because he thought he could get it out. I actually got a video on YouTube of the Lego in the nose child. Yeah, but
I think that's everybody's kid. I was in the ER on 3 separate occasions one time for 2 months straight. The first time, my oldest jumped off his bed, whacked his forehead on the dresser. That was a couple of stitches. Then that followed by him jumping off a flower box in the backyard and smacking the back of his head on a rock. That was some glue. And then that followed by him swinging between a chair and the couch and losing his balance on the backstroke and shoving all his teeth into his gums.
Oh.
Visit. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we were going to get reported for child abuse, but they understood that it was just a rambunctious 5-year-old.
I ended up doing you watch, you know, that game Operation? The light didn't go off, but I didn't have to go to the emergency room.
Right. That's a great piece, though, Chad. I mean,
well, thank you.
It really is. If you ever decided to move that along, I would privately add that to my wacky collection and just put it on a shelf.
that along with
do you remember so many different levels of things I love and I like. It's just I've got all kinds of little nooks and stuff stashed away in this house. So it's neat stuff.
That's the thing. You tell your friends the story about it, and they just sit there and go, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
And you have this in your house, and then you could just laugh at them, and be like, "Yeah, I'm in love with it."
Conversational piece.
But the bad thing about that doll wasn't it that it may start doing it, but there was no way to turn it off.
There's no way to shut it off. I mean, it was horrible, guys. Really, Google it.
It's gonna eat whatever it gets a hold of.
Look at some of the horror stories behind this thing.
I'm talking Tina, and I'm going to eat your hair.
And it's meant to, like, from what I gather from what you're saying, it was meant to actually, when it bites down, pull it in.
Yeah, it's got a backpack. It's got a backpack it wears, and when you feed it its little fruit and stuff like right here, all its little fruit and stuff, when you put it in its mouth, it literally, every time it motions, it pulls it in a little bit more, and it ends up depositing it in the backpack in the back of it.
Oh, God.
So, yeah. Could you imagine a little winky ending up in the back of the...
getting your scalp out of the backpack of the Cabbage Patch Kid.
I'm telling you.
All right, moving on. What else you got?
I think Drew's ready to go puke or something.
That's it.
We're going to leave stuff on the table for next week.
Okay.
So.
All right, Elena, what do you got?
All right, so I figured I would talk about earrings today, kind of going into, earrings and how they first came out. One of the first, earrings is the pierced earrings, but they're still made today. So you can't really look at a pierced earring and be like, oh, wow, that's from untold centuries, But this was the very first, the pierced ears that came out. Around 1870, they came out with like the kidney wires and the lever backs. And when I say lever backs look like this. Where basically it's like a fish hook, because fish hooks were around that time, and the kidney wires. But it actually has the lever in the back of it. Still made today, so it really doesn't help you to date it. But if you find a piece with rose-cut stones on it that date in the Victorian era, then you'd be able to put pieces together to determine the date. But this gives you an idea of like the idea of how the earring piercings changed. Then around 1890, and this one actually helps you date it a little bit better because this one's not made today. So if you come across something like this for $1 or less, I recommend picking it up. I don't know if you can see that, but there's actually threads on the back, and instead of having a push piece, you can actually thread or spin the back on. That threaded pierced earring came in 1890, and it right around World War II, then I'd say the cutoff is 1950. So if you come across a pierced earring that's threaded like this, you know you have definitely vintage to antique.
Now
So
that's
18,
awesome, Elena. I've actually never seen that before.
yeah. Like this piece, this is more 1940s because the actual faux pearl is plastic. And I tap it on my teeth to see if it dings like glass or not. And this is actually lucite, and lucite was 1940s to 1960s. So I was able to date this piece to that time frame. So the help of the material on the piece, and based off of the type of I wouldn't say class, but just the type how it was made helps me date a piece. Okay, so 1890s that came out. And then, right around the same time that the screws on the post came out, then they came out with screw back earrings, where basically you put it on the ear, kind of like a clipped one, and then you actually screw it on to hold it in place. Okay, and then this one is the same thing with this. Same time frame. So if you come across a screwback earring, you're looking at mid-century or later. So like 1890s to 1950s. So when I'm looking at a lot of jewelry, I want to see vintage antique pieces in it. You know, because a lot of times people just don't get rid of their jewelry unless it's gold and they need money. But usually it sits in a drawer for the entire lifespan of somebody. So usually when you come across an untouched estate lot of jewelry, you will find the antique vintage pieces along with the modern. So this is just one of those things I like to see because it kind of lets me know, okay, there are older pieces in this lot. And I want you to note when looking at this piece, okay, because this one's actually like Art Nouveau, and one of the reasons I'm able to date it is the stone is glass. You know, it's not plastic. And if you see right there, the back is solid. And I'm going to show you another piece and why I'm saying that the back's solid, why that's important. Okay, so this is like a 1890, 1915 earring right here. After the screwback earrings, then we get into pierced, but I'm going to actually show another screwback earring real quick. Now you see this one? This is nice rhinestones, and if you start to learn the periods of the different jewelry, you'll learn like Edwardian had a lot of rhinestones in it. And then you had a certain look with Art Deco that had rhinestones in it because Art Deco was all about shapes and stuff. And then you had like the retro area, which was like Art Deco, which was about shapes, but it was also about whimsical designs, and it has a specific like magical look to it. And when you come across a piece like this, it's a little bit harder to date. It's like, okay, well, it's a circle, so it kind of has like a Deco look, and it's, you know, Edwardian had the rhinestones in it too, and it's a screwback, so it dates from 1890 to 1950. But if you look at the back of this piece, can you see that it's not flat? Let me see if I can open it more. Do you see that on the back here, that circle? It's a rivet. Yeah. This is riveted to the back. They started riveting jewelry pieces in the mid-century. So the fact that there's a rivet riveting the screwback earring to the back of the earring tells me it's not Art Deco or Edwardian, but it's more of a retro. So it's right there, 1930s and 40s, right before the screwback earrings went obsolete. So that just kind of gives you an idea, like little factors of a different piece can help date it. Okay, after the screwback earrings, then you have the clip-on earrings. Clip-on earrings came in 1934 and are still used today. There's a lot of different shapes of clip-on earrings. Some were dated mid-century, some not, but you kind of get an idea of like which ones are the older ones, and usually it's by the finish and the look of it. And I'm talking about unsigned pieces, being able to date. I'm not talking about signed. So everyone's familiar with the clip-on earrings. Then, like right around the time the clip-on earrings came out, then they started producing the clip-on earrings with the screw. So really, this isn't a screw, and this is more 1950s. And a lot of time, there's a company by the name of Napier. I could be saying that wrong, but Napier, that would like to use this style. You know, so this right here though is definitely went away. Around the time the screwback earrings went away, this didn't stay long. So the screwback earring clip is definitely going to be mid-century.
Yeah, Napier,
whatever.
Very
I know
cool,
how to
Elena.
spell it, and I know how to sell it.
yeah.
Right.
Some good silk.
Gray in the chat had a question for you, Elena. What about the threaded or sprung clamp style?
Okay, threaded, you mean like post?
That's the question, so.
Threaded what? Flung?
Threaded or sprung clamp style?
The threaded, like you would put a bolt on the back, I guess, a threaded.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe that was what you were talking about, and the question just came late.
Oh, okay. That's 1890s to 1950s.
Right, and then the sprung clamp, I guess, is that maybe the clip-on, or I don't know. Is there another style in there?
Maybe this type of clip-on where it looks like a V. Is that what he means?
That might be.
Because I know this is a special type.
To that one?
There's a specific maker, and this says patent 1966 on it, and I believe that this is a specific patent, and only like a specific company like had used it. But I know that
it's a proprietary clip.
Yeah, it's a patent pending, 1960.
Okay. Well, cool.
And then like also like you could help date it because it has that little rivet on the back. So rivets are something you want to see in jewelry. And I know I hit my 10-minute mark, so I'm just going to finish up with more of a modern type style, piercing. And, you know, we see a lot of these today. And the fish hook that dates like to untold centuries is kind of like this. It's like a hook, but you won't see it dangle for the most part. It's usually attached and welded onto the piece. And where like something like this is more modern. That I like to stay away from modern because my passion is vintage or antique.
Right.
And there's a
Very
stud.
cool.
There's a little stud, Elena, I'm showing you.
Yeah, a threaded stud?
No, just one of those little pressure-backed studs that have
the regular. the
Right.
regular Pierce.
Funny story about this. I was looking in the Goodwill, guys, and I looked in one of the bags, handbags, and I found this gold-studded little earring, 14 karat gold there. It's got to be like maybe 3 or 4 grams, 5 grams, I don't know.
Yeah,
Cool.
gold's money. If you find it stamped with gold, I don't care when it dates.
Yeah.
Well,
What you got, Eric?
I went out and about today, and I forgot to bring something with me, so I was like, well, I'll just buy something while I'm here and share it with you. So I haven't had good luck finding any antiques. I bought some Pendleton, and I bought some Ralph Lauren, bought some cashmere. I even bought an alpaca sweater.
Come
You know,
on.
I just, I couldn't find antiques, so I finally went into a place today, and I'm going to go ahead and do what I call pimp their store, because it was a great place, very clean, very organized, very few booths that were, disheveled. A lot of great stuff in there. Man, if I lived here, I'd be filling my house with furniture right now.
Was this a mall, like
Awesome.
a cooperative mall?
So the name of the place is Victoria Sells Antiques, and the store is located at 125 South Meridian in Puyallup, Washington. If you know where Puyallup is, it's in the downtown area, which is an awesome place. I lived here for 6 years when I was in the Army. I love Puyallup. But, so she's located downtown. Hell, she's at the desk. So if Victoria Sells Antiques, if you're ever in Puyallup, Washington, or the Seattle area, stop in and check the place out. It was satisfying to walk through there. Sometimes you go in some of these places and they're pretty junky. That's definitely not one of the places. I don't remember the name of the magazine, but one of the local magazines actually named her 2014 one of the best antique shops in the area. But while I was in there, I found some militaria, and that's always a good thing.
Right
So
on.
the piece that I'll share with you is going to be parachutist badge,
Jump wings.
or jump wings, or whatever else you want to call it. This is actually a World War II set, and how you can tell that is, first, they're original because they are die struck. They do make cast copies of these, especially if they're a rare maker. And you might not be able to tell the details on here, but probably not. But a cast copy is going to have imperfections in the back. It will not be smooth. And not only that, you won't have a ridge around the outside. Because in order to get rid of the imperfections, they polish the back off. So the back will be completely smooth and I know you can't see it, but this actually has a ridge where the two dies came together to create this badge.
Is that sterling?
And this is sterling. Now what it is, though, is this is a prime example of don't polish your antiques, damn it. Somebody polished this, and there's only a faint area where you could read sterling that's left. They polished the sterling off of it.
Good
I
point.
know it wasn't done by the soldier because the front's not buffed. Because there are buffed wings out there where the soldiers thought they looked cooler if they buffed the fine lines out and made it all smooth.
Yeah, that's bogus, because you can see, Eric, it's got all that detail in there that all the patina can go into. You want to see that dark area, so it's
well, and I know it was clean because if you look, I don't know if you'll see it, if I can get some light on it. There you go. You see that dark spot around the pin?
Yeah.
They did a shitty job cleaning it.
Uh-huh.
All the patina is there in its glory.
Right.
At least some of it's left.
I guess I need to focus on myself. Everybody got tired of looking at Elena. Here, so I'll show you the pin again since nobody could see it. I'm still learning, guys. I'm still learning.
Cool. And you said you got a hell of a deal on that, and it's worth. Well, we don't want to talk.
Yeah, I bought the whole thing for $50. This badge here, I will probably get up to about $100 for it.
Wow.
So, but now what I was talking about with the buffed is soldiers would actually buff the details out of the parachute and stuff.
Yeah.
And the wings. And I have an example of them at home. And they're just called buffed, just buffed parachute badge or jump wings. And it was just something soldiers did that wasn't authorized, but they thought it looked cool.
Mm.
But this is not an example of that. And you can still see the die struck. Now with these, the pinback style of jump wings went away after World War II. So once they're around for a little while, but once it got into the 50s, everything went to clutch back. So if you have a pair of these that are sterling, die struck with a pinback, you're pretty much guaranteed they're going to be World War II. So now if they have, just because they have the clutch back, which is the the two pins on there, doesn't always mean that they're going to be post World War II, because there was places overseas that made clutch backs during World War II, and even in the U.S. there were some manufacturers that made clutch backs.
They still make them. I mean, it's a great hinge design. It doesn't fail that often. It's a good design.
But the pinbacks have pretty much phased out for a lot of badges, but they are still around for certain ones, and that's where getting knowledgeable in the different branches, because just like sterling, in the Army it phased out. Roughly by the time Vietnam came around, sterling was pretty much gone for the Army.
Sure.
But the Marine Corps still uses it today. So. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things you just got to learn about it, and I will definitely show this again, and I will pull some history up specifically on this parachute badge for next week when I'm back home, and we'll get into the history of this and when it started and what it means. And I mean, there's combat jump stars that can be added to these. And there's an invasion arrowhead for guys that did invasion combat jumps and stuff. I mean, there is so much around the parachute badge, and I mean, guys would almost die for this badge as they would for their unit, kind of thing. The airborne dudes are very very proud of their service, and I don't have one. I wasn't crazy enough to jump out of a perfectly good airplane, so. But I can understand their passion, because I have a combat infantryman badge and I feel the same way about it. So, but so that's my piece for the week, and we'll go back over it next week, and I'll pull up some specific history and we'll talk about it. But I do want to plug the Allied Militaria Forum again. I want to plug the Reseller Society, and also. I have links in the chat or in the description to everybody's YouTube channel that is on my panel, and also our guest Kevin and Thrifting Lounge. You can go check him out. Make sure you go over, like, subscribe, all that good social media stuff. I'll let someone else explain that. But and then so let's see, what do we have left? I guess we got to give away a prize. Somebody's got to win something, right? That's why everybody tuned in. They don't care about our antiques. They just want free stuff. Where's that name at, Brian? Who was it?
Hold on. Let me go for one more spin on this. And, oh, great. I'm going to butcher this name. I got the first name. Millie Dominique. Millie.
Dominique.
Millie.
Is she still in the chat?
Let's go look. Millie, are you still there?
I see her all the time in the groups and stuff, so it's not hard to get a hold of her.
Millie D won the rechargeable batteries.
Woohoo!
Again, she just she needs to get a hold of somebody. Get me an email address. Chat's showing some pilot wings now.
You might want to unkiss
Hey,
you.
Chad, I'll see your pilot wings and raise you a full bird colonel.
I've got some lieutenant colonel.
Oh, you mean one of these?
And I'll raise you, Felix
Or
the cat.
how about a major?
No.
Go with major. What about captain? Want to go captain?
Oh, hell no.
Maybe Morgan.
What about lieutenant?
Nah.
Only thing I'm missing is some general stars. So
I got some on my
I did
uniform.
pretty good with my little set today, you know.
Millie,
Dominique, she won the prize.
Woohoo! Are you still clicked?
All right.
Push it.
So,
I'll reach into my bag of magic tricks.
oh God.
Awesome.
So, all right. Well, hey. So we have the Collectors CATACOMB Facebook group. I want you to join the Reseller Society because I love the Reseller Society. It's a lot of fun over there. So make sure you join it, but also join the Collectors CATACOMB because that's the easiest place to get updates on the video. Usually I post the link there like Monday or Friday to Monday, somewhere in there, earlier than the other groups, so you can have it saved and not forget us. You know, and then so go over there, check it out. You could also ask questions. They're not going to get buried in the chat so much. All our panel members plus the other members of the group are there to help you answer questions about antiques, vintage items. We're not really there for appraisals or pricing. Unless you want to sell me all your grandpa's medals, then that's okay. I'm joking. But yeah, so if you, and the other thing is go over there and tell us your favorite item of the week. You know, we could try to guide this show to what our viewers want to see. I mean, all of us have some pretty extensive collections and also purchasing new stuff and selling new stuff all the time. So, you know, we can always tailor things on the show to what you want to see. And yeah, that's about it for the week, I guess. Make sure you hit like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll do more giveaways. I think Chad said he was, I don't know, giving away a lifetime 5-pound bag of coffee or something next week,
oh
right?
my God. You think I'm going to give out that?
I think he said something about a Cabbage Patch doll or something.
Oh.
I tell you what, go to the Collectors CATACOMB Facebook group, and me and Drew's got this little thing. Drew had like 10 items. I brought one. So go over to and say which item you like the best. Drew's 10 items or my one Cabbage Patch.
Oh, boy. So we're going to have some competition
or,
going on.
Or Elena's earrings.
Well, we
Or
all love
Elena's
your
earrings.
Elena.
Well, you might as well have a competition of all of us.
Or you could just go with the, you know,
stuff.
or you could just go with badass, army, paratrooper, World War II. You know what I mean? The Greatest Generation. Just to drop a few names, you know.
Which one
You know
did
where
you
it's at, folks. You know where it's at.
I would also
Right.
like to say,
You can even comment on the new handlebar mustache. Let me know if you like it.
I'd like to say before we get going off here, hit the like button if you like the comments, or if you like the content. I can't talk tonight. Subscribe, get the notifications, so you can rewatch the shows if you miss them. Ramon, hi. I did shout you out. Back to you, Eric.
Thanks to Brian for all the help he gives us during the show. We really appreciate
Brian is awesome. He is our MC. He keeps us going behind the scenes.
Great man.
Some of the other shows coming up. Chad, you're better at remembering all these shows. Go ahead and do a shout out for the shows this week.
Okay, we've got the Toadcast is not running this week. We'll do that on a weekly basis, see how it goes. Sunday morning we have the Pickers Church. Sunday evening we have the R Show. Monday through Friday in the mornings we have the Reseller Wake Up on Resale Ronan's YouTube channel. And on Wednesday we have the Meet and Greet. So hit all of them, and don't forget next Thursday we'll be back here on the Collectors CATACOMB, and we'll have some awesome new items to bring at you.
And don't forget to unclick, Erik. I don't know. Yeah, if you leave it unclicked,
I'm absolutely horrible about it.
Yeah, if you leave it unclicked, it should just go to whoever's talking.
Well, when we were showing stuff earlier, I was trying to keep it there, you know.
Yeah,
But,
I'm Scrapnola.
yeah.
I have a YouTube channel. I love everyone and I want to help everyone. So
Yeah,
hit me up on Facebook.
What's Danica's Facebook group? Anybody remember the name?
The Ladies of Reselling, I think. It's a private group. If you're not sure what it is, hit me up on Facebook and I will direct you to it. I'm a huge champion of Danica. She is awesome.
But it's only for ladies?
It's only for ladies.
It's only for ladies.
Okay,
We all tried joining one night, and I
good.
think we all got denied.
I infiltrated. I got in. And then I looked around. And
she let you in?
She didn't.
I'm giving her shout-outs, and she didn't even approve my account.
Well, chat is about the closest guy to a girl anyway, so.
hey, hint, Danica, you need to approve me if you want to keep getting shout-outs.
Yeah.
No, it's a girls-only group, so if you're a guy interested in the group, don't go to chat.
Hey, you can just call me the bearded lady.
I'm trying to figure out with the Jeff and the tutu and all that, and he didn't get in, how did Chad get in?
I snuck in, trust me.
I think he got in through Kim.
Or through a fictitious account or something.
He's gonna get Kim banned because he was in there snooping around.
Laura Lee was in there. She saw me. I posted saying, "Great group, ladies." Blah 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 blah, and then I left.
Well, you know why, Chad? That's probably because you're just one of the girls.
Yeah. Hey, that's okay.
But no, I wanted to give her group a shout out. You know, it's important for people to get together that have like interest. You know, and the Ladies of Reselling is definitely something that you can get together and talk about. So, but that's about it for this week. We've got our winner. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you leave those comments for the prize next week. Will be that USB recharger, free of charge. I'm not gonna charge you nothing. I might send it COD though, but I'm joking. So we'll see everybody next week. Be the same time. We're gonna do this from 9:30 to 11 Eastern Standard Time, and then after this, give us a few minutes to cool down, and we'll open the chat. We'll post it in the Reseller Society, and we'll also post it on the Collector's CATACOMB. Feel free to come in, ask some questions about antiques. You don't have to have a webcam, but it would be preferred if you at least have a microphone, because it's a lot easier to talk to you than it is to chat with you. If you want
barcode scanner at the door.
Free to send us a message. What's that?
Leave your barcode scanner at the door when you come into this hangout.
Yeah, we're not going to give appraisals. We're not going to give prices. We're trying to. I know it does come up time to time, and I'm not shunning anybody. So, but it's definitely not a focus of this show or our hangout. So, but yeah, feel free to come in. I know I'm going to stick around for at least 30 minutes. I hope the rest of the panel does as well. But they're free to come and go as they want. But come in and ask a question and stuff. And if all I ask is that once we hit 9 people or hit 10 people, one person needs to bow out. So that way we always have a slot open and everybody has a chance to come in and hang out for the first 30 minutes. After that, well, it's a free-for-all because I'll be leaving. So, well, y'all have a good night. And I guess in honor of Drew, keep on picking.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night, guys. Thanks, Erik.
Bye.